Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Avery, and this is Avery's Adventures. Today, we're not going anywhere. It seems to be a theme. Those two guys over there, way off in the distance, those are my two idiot friends. They're great guys. One of them's cutting grass over there. One of them is actually hanging out over here. So, today, we're working on the Mercury. I blew the head gaskets in this a little while back, and I haven't had the stuff to do it. The big thing was this radiator's bad, and I looked online and I found a radiator for $280. I said, too much. So then I went to Amazon and I found one for $150. I said, that's a lot better. Then I went to eBay and I found one for $99.99. That was a steal. So I ordered that one. It's on the way. Our head gasket kit is coming into a local parts store here about 1:30. So we're gonna go ahead and start ripping this thing apart. I've already got the octopus wires off and the carburetor sitting over there in the garage. So we're gonna keep tearing in from here and get this thing all spruced up. Cue time lapse. What? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. That was right, real quick. I'll let you. You're gonna be there for a while, thing. Where'd he put it? Drop that linkage. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, it's only good.
Really use a rubber mallet for that. Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah, that works.
Come off. Yeah. I can't remember.
Silicone. Bitch.
Yeah, it is.
Don't do that one. No. Here, look out. Let me try that one. Yeah, don't stick it in there. That's just asking to
Break it.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
I think your gaskets are set very well.
Hey. You can try and stick a screwdriver in the gasket. I think that's how I did it last time, was prying up on the side.
Yeah, that's in there, man.
Got it!
As soon as I walk away.
Yeah. I put the hammer in like this.
Yeah, that's probably not that good on your heads, but okay. Why don't you take the hood off the car, man?
Because it's heavy, it's steel.
Yeah, it might be easier if I were to just grab it and pick it up out of there, you know that?
You can try. It's got to go backwards to get off this hose. It's heavy. I've usually done this with the engine hoist. I use grabbing on this fitting on the back. Yep. Got it? I'm sitting down on those blocks.
Okay. That right there.
Got the intake off. Got a little bit of moisture down in here, but nothing bad. So, I guess I'll get this cleaned out. I gotta climb up underneath and disconnect the exhaust on both sides. Once that's done, I can unbolt the heads, and the heads will come boop right off. All of these bolted to the one hole. I really want to. You just one hole alternator wheel, power steering pump's got to come off.
Yeah, you just let it flop down there. It's 2 bolts. I'd do it. That could be another, reason. It does move water, but it could be not moving water as much as it should.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it, I'll order the water pump. But I don't really want to dig into that.
For how many times it's overheated, it's probably something that should be done or addressed here in the future.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put the gauge on it, so if the gauge shows any issues, then yeah.
Oh, it's got a pin. I can put this hook on here.
Alright, so I've got the exhaust disconnected. Gonna go ahead and zip all the head bolts out, and these things will come right out. Oh, she's loose. Now, one thing that's interesting on these FE engines compared to newer engines is these head bolts are not torque to yield bolts. On newer engines, the head bolts are torque to yield, meaning that you can only use them once and they stretch whenever you torque them to specs. These don't stretch, so I can reuse these many times and it's completely fine. There are also 2 bolts on each side, and they have a neck down between the threads and the top of the bolt, because it's got these oil passages here where oil actually, I think, drains down into the bottom of the block itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and see about yanking these heads off.
People in your video, if they hear that, they're gonna be like, what's he talking? That's for another day.
My back! Come on, give me some good news. Bad news. I said bad news. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Bring you guys in closer. So, we had a little bit of this gunk on cylinder number, whatever this is, front passenger side. Had a little bit of moisture down here and down here, but thankfully these pistons aren't all gunked up. So, put some oil down in there, just to bring her around, and she'll be fine. Let's see where something's been dragging right there. Cylinder wall, that's not good. Alright, let's pop the other side off. Well, I think I know which head gasket failed.
What, that one?
That one. 'Cause this cylinder head stuck to the block still.
But did that one come off real easy?
As soon as all the bolts were out, that one fell off.
Oh. This side.
It had moisture buildup in 1 and 2, and then a little bit just in like 3 and 4.
Yeah, you need to spray them.
I'm gonna drop some oil in them.
Well, I'm saying when you put the new head gaskets on, I'd copper spray them.
It's in there.
Yeah, if you got it, put it on it. All out. Looks like you can just grab it.
It's just heavy.
You got this.
Oh, I gotta undo the dipstick bolt too. I think you should leave.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
That one's a weird one. It's all right.
Oh, isn't that limited series?
It's
or is it a movie?
No, it's a like skit series.
Oh, I don't remember seeing that. I think I saw it. I don't know, but you got to check that out. Those everything's a Toyota except for a Land Rover and a CJ or a T or it's a CJ5 that's been extended. The frame's been extended and it's got a 350 in it.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
They extended the frame and put a 350 Chevy in it, and it's 5-speed, so I think it's got an MV 4500 behind it. Dana 60s. Calls it Super Jeep.
Oh yeah.
There's a little moisture in that one too, bud. Back cylinder.
Yeah.
What the hell? Oh. Here's one of your solid steel exhaust gaskets.
Just rolled out.
As long as you put it in right, they keep it quiet.
Well, you just put your hand on this, make sure it don't fall while I get out. Let's try to tilt that way.
You got it. Try not to coat my hands in oil. I managed to finish doing everything I needed to do without getting covered in oil.
Hell yeah. Yep. 1, 2, and 3 look pretty good, and then. Ooh.
Moisture.
Yes. Yes. At least it's at the top. Instead of being down in the
So
floor.
that one's not seating the whole way around it. Look at it.
Yeah.
See how the blue came off? And it's not seating up there. It's leaking in from that back runner. Did you run sandpaper on these at all?
On the cylinder bores or the top of the deck?
On the top of the deck.
No.
Take these little fuckers out.
Yeah.
Because they just pop out. And get you a big body block. Or just a nice straight 2x4 and wrap some 500 or 600 around it. And get it damp, not wet to where it's gonna drip into everything, but then just clean it off all really good and then wipe it down with some brake clean. And all that shit should come off.
I got 1000 grit in the garage.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah, something like that. You don't want anything that's coarse. You want real fine. Sitting right there. Kind of hold it like this and swing it back and forth across the whole thing. Were you at George's when he was talking about how he rebuilt a CRV motor?
No.
He rebuilt the CRV motor in, it was a head gasket job and shit, in a Food Line parking lot. And the CRVs have a table that come in the back of it. And he took that table and
Used it as a workbench?
he got big pieces of, like the biggest pieces of sandpaper he could get.
Yeah.
And stuck them to the top of the table and then just set the head on top of it and sat there for about an hour, hour and a half sliding the head back and forth. There's that if you want to spray it in the cylinders and wipe it around. Oh yeah, you can see over here, this hot rod trying to get back.
Yeah.
There's acceleration in the ring.
I haven't even looked at the head gaskets yet, but I mean, if that's not an indication right there.
Why are they that shape? Why aren't they perfectly round?
Hell if I know, dude.
That's so fucking weird.
Just so the camera can see.
So that's how it's supposed to be.
That's blown out right there.
I thought it wasn't how it was supposed to be, dude.
No, they don't go all the way to the cylinder bores.
They're not like a Honda.
Well, and these head gaskets work on more than one displacement engine.
Oh.
Yeah. These work on all the way up to a 427.
Thanks, Ford.
Yeah. This one, Oh yeah, you can see where the, yep, in between cylinders, the front 2 cylinders.
Right there.
All the gasket material's missing.
Right here?
No, right here. Look at this head gasket. Right here and right here. All this material's missing.
It got too hot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know that happened. Working with the heads now. Got one exhaust manifold off. That one was definitely
What are those?
burnt to a crisp. These are new exhaust manifold gaskets.
So they're supposed to be double stacked.
I don't know because they're different. There's 2 different types. I've gotten these types before. And the new kit that we're getting will come with 2 more of these. So I was just going to double stack these and then get the other ones and double stack those on the other side.
Use one-on-one. Where did all this shit just come from?
That came from probably knocking these bolts out. This.
Center it like that.
Yeah. It's on the bolts.
I think do that. It'll give it a nice good seat. Since it doesn't like to draw down properly.
These these exhaust manifolds.
Yeah, they're fucking shit.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could get a set of fucking headers for it, but you said what? They're almost $1,000?
They're $800. I mean, they grant you like 20-30 horsepower, but Jesus Christ.
It's like paying $800 for a fucking lower control arm, not knowing if you actually need it or not.
Yeah.
Maybe it just needs to go to the alignment shop, but I don't want to take it to the alignment shop until I know I've done everything that I can do.
I don't blame you.
Even though George says that his guy go to the other end. Let me just use this thing right here. Go and train somewhere else. Can rush his head. Like Ryan said, train your chickens out in the water. What do I mean? Chicken house? I don't see that Luke in South Carolina. See if I can like attack and charge.
Never. You just have to set the parking brakes. Yeah.
Let's see.
I get here. We got the gasket set in, loaded it up with some copper spray. We're gonna get these heads set on.
Look at my hand. It's the same color as the head gasket.
Copper.
For all y'all who think this shit don't work, it really does. Almost any diesel engine when you're putting it back together calls for this stuff. So it has to work somehow, some way. Okay. Grab me a bolt for now, because we're going to do the driver's side first. Just want to stick in here and hold it up. Alright. Don't you touch that with your fucking boot.
I don't.
Here, get out. Get out.
I got it.
Got it? No, you don't.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Just try not to drop it on there and slide it all over the place, because it'll fuck that shit up. Go ahead.
It's in the way.
Try to hold it up. There you go.
My boot's in the way. There we go.
You got it?
Yep.
Now, what bolts?
5 wet ones and 6 dry ones.
6 dry.
1.
Next
2.
down.
3.
You said 4?
5.
5.
5 wet ones. Yeah, it's 5 wet ones and 5 dry ones per side.
Seems like you're missing 2.
They're around here. There's some still in that cylinder head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One of those next down. Okay, you got 3, or you got 4 there. 4 of those. What'd you do? In the box?
I don't think so. Those are all intake manifold bolts. Where to put them?
Oh, I know where it is.
Where? Yeah,
So
it's on the block.
take that bolt. So we'll take another dry bolt.
I need to go back some.
Huh?
I need to go back to us. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna hold. That's not. It's the wrong side, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean that one doesn't go there, yeah. But it threaded in right there. It's threaded in there. That one won't reach.
I thought the wet ones went up there.
Wet ones go up top, dry ones go on the bottom. That one's the dry one.
Oh.
There's your home. All right. Torque time.
You can run them all down a little bit. Well, hopefully this will fix your bad issues.
Hopefully.
Do them from the center out, even though you're just running them down. But do you have to have the adapter in there? You ain't got a 1/2 inch?
I probably do, but I'm not gonna sit there and look for it.
That's because you're a little guy. And because you're trying to do it with an extension. You need to take the extension out.
You still get the same torque reading with the
It's
extension.
easier for you to turn it.
You can't get to like the bottoms ones.
And you ain't got a shorter
Nope.
extension than that.
Nope. I mean, I do somewhere. Where that some place is, I don't know.
I'm still gonna add it and put the power seal in there. Add that when you do it back on the truck.
Yeah.
I see that. It was mine. Now look. How they cut the hole in the hood support so they could put the emblem on there.
Yeah. From the dealer.
And it's a Lincoln emblem. It's not even a Mercury emblem.
Nope.
So you could drive around and tell people that this is a Lincoln.
Yeah. It's weird because Mercury and Lincoln were the same division. They weren't two separate companies in 1964.
Yep. The difference was though is this was so Ford was your everyday person. Mercury was somebody who had a little bit of money, and then Lincoln was the rich fuckers.
Trying to find one of them from back in these days, dude. Oh my god, it is ridiculously hard.
But an actual Lincoln?
Yeah, I've never really.
I think Joe has one. I think his is the Coupe de Ville.
That's a Cadillac.
Or no, yeah, sorry, not a Lincoln. His is the Cadillac, I think.
You can find caddies.
It might be a Lincoln. I'd have to look at it again. I don't want to see the line for you. Maybe it's funny the way you're working. Or you just want to straight face. That's not how I do it. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I guess it's just it's American. Anything Japanese.
Battery died on us, but we got another one while Chris was torquing down the rest of them. Woo! No. Oh, I don't need much. I need the melter.
Just enough.
Yeah, there. This isn't necessary, but I like putting it back in.
Why isn't it necessary?
It's just a windage tray. Whenever you get like aftermarket intakes, they don't fit. And it's actually like, you see how it's supposed to like fit down under the.
It is not.
Yeah, it doesn't. It fits on that side actually.
No, it just went down in there.
It's not gonna do it.
And
on
then
that
it's
side.
missing a piece of it that somebody already cut off.
Oh. Yeah, maybe. It was kind of smart, and also having spot for the windage tray. You take these, and then
Like lock on to it.
yeah. Just like that.
Interesting.
On that side.
This would be the second time this has been done.
In the past couple months. Past 4 months.
I'm sure this has been done before.
Oh yeah, this is not the original one. Alright.
But that don't even make sense. This is right on that ring.
It does? The last one would not fit. The last one was too big.
I think that's where it goes. I think it's a spark arrestor. I don't know.
Glob RTV back in here. Put glob of RTV back.
Where's your air cleaner? I think it sits on here like this, and then this motherfucker crushes it.
That's why I put it on that split now.
That's funny.
Boom.
He's trying to walk up still, though.
That's how it is. Stick.
So I saw this new trick, bud.
Yeah.
We should, we gotta try it sometime. You know how we're always trying to set a net on top of things out there?
Yeah.
We're supposed to super glue it.
I honestly did that.
We're supposed to super glue it over the bolt, and then fucking plug inside it, so we might hold it. It takes an extra 2 minutes.
I welded a nut to a bolt to try and get it out the other day, and then it just made the bolt weak, and it just snapped the bolt, and I just got mad. It was on the caliper bracket for that Chevy on the Dana 60.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's holding it in there?
Force.
Force?
Yeah. You slide some things together, and they just kind of stay in there, and then you put the bolt's the lock. And then there's this little spring piece and a T that slides in, and you put a bolt in the T-piece so that can't slide out anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Now to get the intake in here.
It'll be alright. Bring you one of these 4x8s. Yeah.
You gotta grab it in between. You gotta make the hose go on.
It's in there.
Sit it down. Squish.
Alright. Start putting your bolts in. Push it down the rest of the way.
The instructions say you gotta take the water pump off to do that.
It didn't move the back one, did it?
It didn't feel like it.
Just like a Honda. I've done it so many times. They just do like that, you know?
Yeah. I was about to say, where are you? 9/16. Where'd you go? Where'd my wrench go? That's how you do that.
Yeah. These are all tight.
Hell yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's funny.
There's Chris has departed, so we're gonna go ahead and finish this up. And I'd just like to point out how easy of a task this really was to do head gaskets on an older vehicle. We started this at, I don't know, maybe 11 in the morning, and it's not even 4. So it was a very easy task to really break down and do. And if you compare this to trying to do the same thing on a newer, even a 2000s vehicle, you have so much more time into it. Thankfully, this is really straightforward. So I'm just gonna put all these push rods back in, wipe all the excess rust that came up on them, slap these rockers on. I don't even know if I'm gonna bolt the valve covers down. I don't have any oil with me today, so the only thing we're gonna do tomorrow is we're gonna go to the parts store, grab some oil, come back, change on the Earl, and then once we get it changed, we're just gonna see if we can get her to run and idle for a minute, and if she's happy. Because I need a radiator for this girl. I ordered one off eBay, like I mentioned earlier, and I checked it earlier. Yeah, no shipping updates, so hopefully it'll ship today. And in case you're not watching this, of course, the day that it comes out, I highly doubt you are. Today is Tuesday, January 2nd. So yesterday, Monday, was January 1st. So most places were definitely closed. And it should ship today, hopefully. We can do it this weekend. We can get it stuck in this pig. Backwards too. Oh well, it just broke my fuse holder for my subwoofer amplifier. Electrical modulator and sound. Go in there. It is what it is. And the torque spec for these bolts is tight. I would like to drill and tap this for a temperature gauge because my factory temperature gauge does not work, but temperature gauge I got does not fit in here right. And it doesn't tell me what size threads it is either. It just says check to make sure it fits in the intake, which it doesn't. So I think I am actually going to skip on this for the moment. We'll do that tomorrow after I go to the store and check on temperature gauge. And the distributor. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. Whenever I went to go pull the distributor out, I took a picture so that I don't have to set this back to top dead center on number one. And that looks to be it right there. Yep. Street Warrior 7150. I don't know if it's a 7150. What I do know is this little fuel box flows 650 cuffums. Siphons? I don't understand. There we go. Just flip it in the air, make it do some acrobatics, and all of a sudden it fits. All right. Just gonna set the wiring octopus on top. Wiring octopus. Although I shouldn't put those back there. Alright, so I've got our valve cover gaskets. And I actually prefer these cork gaskets. I think that I like the way they cinch out and they seat down really nice, and you don't have to worry about them flopping all over the place and moving, and you don't have to put any RTV in there to keep them still. They just set them, and when you need some new ones, go get some new ones. Not that expensive. No, I still gotta clean out the valve covers. These are pretty nasty. But just for today, I'm going to just set them on. I'm not gonna put the bolts down. I just want everything covered up. Because well, you guys are okay? Because it's about the end of the day. So I'm ready to start getting ready to pack it in. Free up the stand. Dang. So I'll catch you guys in the morning when I got some oil and some more supplies, and we'll get this thing running. All right, guys, it's the next day. We're back at it again. We've got the engine sitting here. It didn't move. We've got a temperature gauge. I bought one yesterday, but I'm guessing it had a 1/2 inch NPT plug. The instructions did not tell me. They just were not there. I had the parts guy at the store go through the box before me. He could not find what size the threads were for the probe. He sent it out to me. I got it, could not find the size for the probe. It would not tell us. I do have a 1/2 inch NPT, tap, but without knowing what size it's supposed to be, I wasn't taking the risk. So I went up to the parts store. I found this one. This works like my factory gauge. And I think this is kind of neat because it's all electrical. You got your gauge, and then on the back here, you've got a positive, a ground, and then this is for the sender, and you just have an electrical signal that comes from the sender to here, and then based on the current or voltage that this sender or this gauge sees, it then knows what temperature it's supposed to read at. So I'm hoping that I can pull that sender out right there, and where is it? There's this sender right here, which is very similar to the sender that's in the car. So they may be the same sender, and I may just be able to use this sender, but I don't know if I want to just take that risk. I would rather just go ahead and see if I can pull this one out and put this one in, and this one will read correctly for that gauge. And we can just hold on to this one until I can figure out what's wrong with the factory gauges. And then once I figure out what's wrong with factory gauges, I can just go ahead and snap this one onto the factory gauge setup and see if the factory gauge reads the same as this one. But that'll be way down the road. So first things first, I'm gonna go get a socket, pull that one out, and let you guys know what the answer is. And what do you know? Swapped, just like that. So now I'm gonna run a wire from here into inside the cab, and we'll hook it up to this gauge, run a ground in a 12-volt positive, and get this gauge hooked up and mounted. So I think what we're gonna do for power is my buddy Chris wired up the switch in here that's absolutely covered in electrical tape. This is for the radio. So I'm going to unwrap it, see how this thing is all mangled, how this wiring is mangled up in here. Thankfully there's no battery in here, and I can maybe put some actual ends on this wire, because I guarantee you that there's no ends on these wires. Oh, there are. They're just all wrapped up in there. All right. All right, so we've got green wire coming in from the sender. Went ahead and just put the factory sender wire back on top. Ran it back down to the firewall, through the grommet. Out through the firewall right there, up over, around, through some stuff in the dash, and then out to here into the back of the gauge. We got ground going over here to the same ground as the radio, and we actually routed our power wire straight into the same power wire for the radio for the switch. And we've also got our light wires going to both the hot and the ground for the gauge itself. So when the gauge is on, the light's on. Same when you turn the radio on, this is on. I don't cruise without my radio most of the time, so this will be on the majority of the time, usually every time the car's on. So let me show y'all after I get this all stuffed back together. Switch is in, gauge is in, glare, boom, boom, on, off, goodbye, on, welcome, goodbye. I need to bump the distributor to get it to fall down into place. So y'all stay right here and watch it while I bump the key to make sure that it falls down into place. Now, are y'all looking close enough? Y'all see that? And boom, it just sat down in there the rest of the way. All right, we're back around top. Went ahead and changed on the Earl, put a tube filter in it just in case we're just gonna change this quickly. We gotta hook up the octopus wires now. One of the cool things about this Ford intake, and this is actually a 4-barrel Thunderbird intake, cast iron, is all those numbers right there. It says firing order, and then it says 154266378. And then if you come over here, right here, it's kind of hard to see on the cap, down in there, it's not gonna really lighten up, but that mark right down there, that's a 1. So this is cylinder number 1. So then, you know, well, trace your spark plug wire and come over here and take your multicolored spark plugs, mix, match, set, plug it in. So the distributor rotates counterclockwise, so then we know this one, this next one, come over and look at, I took a picture because I can't see the back of the engine. It says 5. So this next one, that's 5. Well, number 5 is this one. Oh, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe. So then the next one is 4. Yep, so we trace this one back, and yep, this one goes on the back here. 4, so we just did 4, so that's number 2. So yep, this one, and that's this one. I was right on my cylinder numbers because this is the same way that these wires came off. So the next one, 2 after 2 is number 6. So 6 is the second one on the side. Follow that one back. After 6, we have 3. So, and that makes sense because it's the only one left on the side. I should have already plugged this one in after I plugged the other ones in. Silly me. So after 3, We have 7 and then 8. So 7 and then 8. Yep, got that one up around there. 7. Yep. All right, now we got all our sparkulator wires, spark plug wires. I'm gonna set this about right there. I took a picture of it the other day. It was pointed, not quite there, but about right there. All right. Now this is always a little nerve-wracking to me, just because I have not started this thing in a while, and I just completely tore the engine apart and put it back together. So I guess let's go whirl on the key, see if she comes to life. Almost forgot the most important spark plug wire. And I'm just gonna let it rest up against this fuel filter. It'll be fine. Gasoline's non-conductive. I'm a little nervous. I don't want to hurt my baby again. All right, here it goes. Whirling. That ain't whirling. Whirling again. Oh. Well, I don't necessarily like that. It sounds like he's missing. I'm gonna cut it. Alright guys, it is the next day. So the engine was running a little rough. It felt like it had a miss yesterday. Not quite liking how it's running, but in order to get it running longer, to kind of do some diagnostics on it, we gotta put some coolant in it. So I'm not gonna put coolant in it, I'm just gonna put some water in it, because we've got a radiator coming in and there's no use trying to put coolant in it and then get it all over the ground and whatnot. We'll just use water. So I've already got this radiator overflow master tank ready to go. I got this gasket, put some RTV on it. However many times I have tried to just use a gasket, it will not work. You have to use RTV. So I'll mount you guys up and y'all can watch me put this in, fill it up, and I'm probably gonna let it sit for about 30-45 minutes before I even try to fill it. And then once it's filled, start it up, work with the distributor a little bit. May have to set number 1, set it back to top dead center on number 1 and see what we can do there. So follow along. All right, we got her installed. Had to struggle with some of them bolts down there. Got the hose back on. RTV is RTVing. So we're gonna let this bake for about 30 minutes, come back, go ahead, top her off. Whoops. And we'll fire her up, see how she sounds. Oh, well, it might help if I put the heater hose on the back of the intake there now, wasn't it? Now there is one more thing that I wanted to do. Well, the radiator's already dripping. Pretty good. Come on. Not going anywhere with the distributor. Just gonna set it right there. So I have the special tool here. It's just a 1/4" drive socket on a 1/4" drive. 1/4" nut, 1/4" drive, 1/4" extension, super glued together so that I can stick it down this hole onto the oil pump's drive shaft. And I would usually use a drill. I don't have a drill available to me at the moment, so I'm sure my 1/2" impact has enough oomph to turn it. This way we can get the engine primed up. I don't really like how it sounded yesterday whenever we started it. Had a bunch of lifter noise, so this way we can get oil all throughout the engine before we even start it. We gotta turn it counterclockwise, so we'll let that sit there. Well, I pulled the priming tool out and I got this color oil, so that's not good. But hopefully we got most of that out, and that's just residue that's just left up there. Had to go and get my stepdad's yellow DeWalt. It's kind of hard to see, but you can watch his oil kind of pumped up through these holes on the tops of the rockers and in between on the studs where oil was coming up. So I know we were moving oil. Earl on my fingers. Junk on. Make sure that one's on. This one's on. This one's on. We got cool in there. Alright. Guess I'm gonna go start her up. Now that we got her all lubed up. Yep, we're gonna start with timing. So, the way I was taught to do timing, and I do not have a timing light. We are not going to use a timing light. That is not the way that I'm going to do this. I do not understand it, but particularly because my engine does not have timing marks on it. There is no timing piece that comes off of the block to mark the crankshaft. There's no marks on the crankshaft balancer because it's just a wheel for a belt, so it's like a pulley. So there's no one here to help. I'm not here to help. No help. We're doing it this way. Well, why don't you just get out of here? Y'all are the two tight ones. Oh, and I still need to clean these out. Alright, so first off, we need to set the engine to top dead center on the intake stroke. So this is the intake, this is the exhaust. The way I know is the exhaust runner is right here. It literally is right below the exhaust valve, and if you look on the intake manifold connects to the intake valve right there. So we gotta find a socket for the crankshaft. We'll get her spun over. I'll show y'all, and then once we've got that set to top dead center on number 1, we'll take the cap back off the distributor and we'll rotate the distributor to make sure that the thing in the top that spins around is pointed at number 1. So let me get a socket. So you see those 2 valves right there? We're trying to get them to move. That clicking is my starter. Alright, there's the intake valve comes around. It's opening. So you have 4 strokes. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Suck engine in the air, squeeze it, blow it up, and then blow it out. So on the first stroke, the piston goes down, the intake valve opens, which it just did, and it sucks air in. So as the intake valve closes, the piston should be at the bottom of the stroke. So we want top dead center on the squeeze stroke, the compression stroke. So now that this is at the bottom of the suck stroke, we know it's got to come back up. So now we take the spark plug out of cylinder number 1 at the bottom, and we stick a dowel or a screwdriver in there, and we turn it over. And as the screwdriver hits the top of the goes all the way to the top, we know that's top dead center, and we can stop the engine right there, and we can retime it through the distributor here. And we set this to cylinder number 1, and then all we have to do is just turn to get our ignition dialed in. So let me get that spark plug yanked out and we'll get her timed. All right, so you see our screwdriver here? Yep, now I'm gonna turn the engine over, and I have to keep my hand on it so that it doesn't bind up and go sideways and try to mar up the cylinder walls. I have to be real careful here. Usually people suggest using a wood dowel, but I only got sticks in my yard. Yep, see? Getting pushed out. Alright. That's top dead center right there. The screwdriver stopped coming up, and I can even go a little bit further and show you. There it's going down. So I'm gonna reverse my ratchet. No! And bring it back up. There we go. That's top dead center. Now that we've got it at top dead center, we'll go ahead and so this is number 1 right here on the distributor, pointing this way. So let's see where it's pointing at. Not at number 1. And that's not something we're going to be able to fix with just by turning it. So this fuel line here. Oh, there goes the fuel everywhere. I need 2 hands for that. Fuel line is always a pain in the butt. That just went everywhere. All right, so, and I already have it marked. number one is right here. So if I turn the distributor all the way here, I can get it, but that's probably more of a whole tooth jump. Got the thingy out. Come on, loosen up. All right, turn some. Yeah, we can see that's more where it should be, pointed right at cylinder number one right here, that blue mark. So I guess I'll put the collar back on, and you pretty much, it's almost guaranteed that if you pull the distributor out, and just if you pull the distributor out, you're gonna have to pump the key in order to get it to sit down all the way. I have not had it happen, but maybe once, and I forced it one time and then it broke the shaft, and then I had to take the oil pan off, then I had to take the oil pump off. Oh my god, it was a huge mess. So bump, and that actually did not return. That turned the engine over and it stayed. Probably because there's no compression on cylinder number one, not having a spark plug on it. So I'm gonna go ahead, so you guys right down here again, and I'm gonna turn it back over. Yep, there's top dead center. Right there. So now that we're at top dead center again, you can see blue mark. There's the rotor button. You can turn it, and that should be right where she wants to be. Maybe. I this timing stuff, I don't know. Not an expert. So I'm gonna get all this menagerie sorted. Spark plug back in, and put the valve cover on, and we'll see how she runs. Let's try this now. We've got distributor setup changed, we've got the spark plug in, everything's set back up. Hopefully she'll fire right off. There's a lot of loud noises in there. Why don't we try some of this? That is advancing. I don't know which one we need. That's so much better than it was yesterday. I'm really happy with that. So, we got a little bit of a tick. We got a pretty good tick there. Maybe she'll come around. Well guys, I don't know what to say other than she's knocking. That's not a tick, I was wrong. When you give it some throttle, you'll hurt it. That's not good. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's whiffs of smoke coming out of here. So even though we just did this head gasket, the fact that that shows that our wood block machine job did not actually take good effect. So we're gonna have to tear this thing down, take it to a machine shop, actually have them deck the block and whatnot. So I'm not gonna run it any longer. I'm probably not doing anything good for it. I would just go get another engine, but they're a little pricey, and this one's got high compression pistons, which I actually do really like. I would like to go and just pull it out, have it decked, have the machine, the heads decked, stuff it all back together, and put it back in the car the way I got it, and hopefully not ruin it this time. That would be nice. So, unfortunately, even though it does run, she's not good. This one's so if you appreciated watching this, if you had fun watching this, you enjoyed, you know, the bad information that I definitely give out for being my own mechanic, then leave a like down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them down below as well. So hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you on the next one.